Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to League Zero. We got the intermediate division tonight. The upper bracket quarterfinals this game. We have Beach Ball versus Meerkat Kollapse. I will be your play-by-play for tonight. Joining me on color is Gumsauce. Gumsauce, say hello.
Howdy.
Okay, fair enough. I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna go for a bit more of a longer intro, but I did
No,
say
no.
hi, so that's good.
Yeah.
Honestly, Gumsauce, let's just get right into it. We have an absolute banger of a game. So there's narrative flying everywhere. Let's just, yeah, League Zero. Same with any community league. It's about the players. And when we look
Mhm.
at this lobby, we've got 12 incredibly talented players in this lobby for starting out. So as we look at both of these teams and their starting lineups, who have you got your eyes on?
There's a lot. I mean, just because I recognize a lot of faces here before from playing in League Zero before and just casting before some of these teams. So on Meerkat, and my eyes are on players like Reborn as well as Sly, while keeping an eye on Beach Ball. We got people like Craig, who's just like Dommy Mommy on Tank, and RKT, Doc, and Panera Panini. So I am just so excited to see how this team plays out.
Yeah, 100%. Both of these teams have a lot of talent behind them, and I think it would be foolish of us to just not sort of look at the numbers and look at the awards. As I said, I believe the awards have just been announced for overall across the community, but at least for this division. And we've got awards, we've got names all across the board. We've got um, the league MVP Central going up against runner-up Doc. We've got Rookie of the Year Doc going up against also tied Rookie of the Year Ducks. And we have role stars with Slimole and Michael, aka the Girdler, on off tank and flex support for Meerkat Collapse.
Mhm.
There are a lot of unnames in this roster for me, Gumsource, but just on paper, I think, at least for me, from familiarity, I would have to give this one to Meerkat, but it's really close.
It's anyone's guess. And my professional opinion was not very professional at all. I would love to see Beach Ball kind of take the W for this. We saw them both times between the first tournament and also on the regular season, where we saw that the regular season they faced where Meerkat won 3-1, and during the I think it was the first tournament, actually the tournament original with Beach Ball won 3-1. So it's kind of a toss up, and I'm really excited to see what actually entails. Will they continue through the bracket of this tournament? Will they hit the semifinals or even the finals in the end? So it's anyone's game. I'm really excited to see what happens. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm just like, let's get this game going.
Yeah, I think it would be good to see, especially because of the way that Control normally operates as a game mode. But you're absolutely right. If you were a neutral, if you were making some form of tier list, as is common in the L0 community I've seen, and both of these teams have got really good cases for coming out victors in this match. Meerkat went farther than Beach Ball in the most recent tournament and have a bunch of role stars to their name, but Beach Ball did win the mid-season, and they've clearly got a
Mm-hmm.
hyper carry, very high performing player in Doc. Doc is someone
Mm-hmm.
who I know I've seen in other tournaments. He has his highs, he has his lows, but when Doc is on, when Doc is locked in, when he's on the Adderall, not that he actually takes it, but like metaphorically, he's one of the best players in the lobby, and especially in this SR range, has potential to just dominate on a wide variety of heroes. I think some people
Mm-hmm.
don't even give him credit for the depth of hero pool that he has. So there's some scary names in this lobby for both teams. As I said,
Mm-hmm.
with Control, it's all about which composition is going to come out on top. I always find
Mm-hmm.
Gunsource that one comp tends to dominate the lobby, and then the team that plays that
Mm-hmm.
comp the best ends up winning. So, in your
Oh yeah.
opinion, in this division, what you've seen so far this season in all forms of in all brackets of League Zero, what is the number one composition in your opinion right now?
Honestly, wholeheartedly, there's been a weird mix. I've casted some games where like one team is playing a consistent comp, like usually Rush or like Shadow Dive or something of that nature, and that's been like very consistently good. But when you're in an intermediate skill level, you're not at the peak, right? So there's going to be mistakes, and usually these competitions are like they have to be mistake free. And then on the other side, you see some team is doing some really crazy comp, like Hog is running in the background. You know who I'm talking about, but I think a consistent composition is important, but I think the willingness to be able to switch around and play a little bit more comfort picks is important for this kind of bracket and this kind of tier, just because you don't have like the skill set to be playing on the highest levels of Overwatch, which is absolutely fine. So, honestly, I would love to see what they like to come out with. I would like to see some consistency with teams, but also want to see some weird, wacky comps because that's what I had the most fun casting, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. And when I look at particularly Meerkat Collapse, I think it's easier for me to even just blindly gauge the composition that they're going to be going with because I'm very familiar with the Girdler, aka Michael, Reborn, Dux, and Slime. All their hero pools are more familiar to me. I think Dux definitely more of a fan of the Lucio and the Brigitte. Slimeall, I would say, very confident on the Baptiste and the Zenyatta, Reborn, Doomfist, Reaper, those sort of heroes, and Michael, Diva, or Sigma. So I think they lend themselves to more of a aggressive, all-in type of composition, especially when we're heading in now into Busan Sanctuary. I'm expecting some form of 6-man or AWT-based composition for Meerkat Collapse, but for Beach Ball, I don't know, they could play fast, but they could also play slow around their hit scan.
Yeah, they could play, some hog ball if they really wanted to. That is an option I've seen here done before. And we have Zimzif actually in. So the Zimzif Zimdiff can be a fun thing to watch if they're on the Ana or if they're on the Ana. So look at that. We're looking at an interesting competition between both sides. We're going to see a Sigma on both teams. But that's really the only thing that's in common.
Yeah, it is. And by the looks of it, both of these teams have plenty of time to adjust. Obviously, both of these symmetries are not going to be rolling out on this.
No way, no way, please.
They're going to be using it for the TP, and then we'll swap to likely Tracer. But we have a similar-ish composition, except we've got a Roadhog and a Wrecking Ball. So
4, 3,
track on the Wrecking Ball. It could be my ranked games all over again, but considering the flimsy outline of this composition that Dux and Slime all are on, you never know. The Hog has to get value here, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is that Craig on the Hog is kind of a meme in some cases, but there's so much power in intermediate because you're punishing mistakes with the one-hit kill abilities.
Yeah, I think the Discord is going to be really key if they apply it onto the Hog. There is only one really hard form of CC, and that is the Shield Bash of Dux. You would argue that if the Hog gets into the range, then it's going to be punishing the Fig and punishing the Gate. One in the head of RTT. The Tracer goes down for Beach Ball. They lose that offhand, they lose that pressure. Dot walks in to compile the misery for Meerkat Collapse. Another one. MVP winner all the time, which is a statement on this cast. He gets a nice little 3k, and Beach Ball, they come out on the Stick Hog composition a little less optimal, but they make it work.
That was an incredibly deciding fight, and you just saw like the differences of like what some of the abilities, some of the play potential was. Because look at Date, about 40% on the ultimate, while Doc is 90%. I mean, that's just showing how much more damage they're outputting. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Doc did so much there, and even though they lost RTT early to a great headshot from Date, I mean, Doc just did the rest, walked in with his team. Makima, I think, did a nice job of staging him there as well. But it's just going to be a little bit of poke, I think, before the fight gets going again. Doc Moon is online, it's available. Here we go, the other Tracer, this time getting involved in the kill feed, but it's on the left side, the good side. Reborn takes down Zimzif. That's the Ana, all sustained from this composition of Beach Ball is gone. That should allow Meerkat to walk onto the point. We'll say that, Doc the kill onto the Tide runner, Tide rookie of the year, so a little bit of award gift there. There we go. There's award gift winners in this entire lobby. But Meerkat, they kind of walk back with an ult disadvantage and take the fight to flip.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hard-fought fight for the flip over from the side of Meerkat Collapse, but we did see a little bit of commitment with Date using Bob, and now we're looking at a little bit of an difference. Now we're looking at Zimzif, RQT, and Craig having ultimates, basically. So we're going to see if it's a quick retake or if they're going to struggle, fight back. Meerkat can hold his defense.
Yeah, the key ultimates for Beach Ball here.
You're powered up. Get in there.
They are going to go for that. And the whole dog comes in as well. He's a very, very angry Piggy, trying to force everyone off the point, but Reborn doesn't care. He just goes in and sticks the Ana. Once again, that sustain is gone on the side of Beach Ball, and now they're doubling up Reborn. They've started to put his eyes on more. Doc is going to walk in and take down his enemy Brigitte, and Meerkat Collapse will play the angle, and they address perfectly. Very flimsy composition. When they play it like this, it looks very, very tough to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And then now we saw how much commitment they went, and Craig is going to the ball, match the other ball. So now we got tanks lined up together, matching. The only difference now, again, we have just all differences again, all the economy differences. So I mean, I just want to see how this plays out, because at this point, this could be a good retake for Beach Ball, but I can see easily that Meerkat holding up to 100.
I think so, and at least getting the 99 to make it here, I think is quite good. There's a lot of options to go on this fight. We're going to start with a flux and a flux. Get it on Sam is going to go in with the minefield to try and zone, but he manages to get a kill with it as well. We'll take that every day for Beach. Doc finds the trade back to Cassidy. The all-important hit stand still alive and still got heal around him, I believe. Both supports for Beach Ball are still alive. But speaking of, Anna might not belong to this world. They got their eyes then this falls again in this fight. It's 92% on the board. And Meerkat, they're slowly improving percentage. They don't keep going that direction. Ball slam coming from Drake, who's slipped over. But though Sam gets a big one for Cordero, the Vegeta going down is crucial. Dux though finds the trade again, so both break now out the fight. Dux comes back into the fight and immediately gets popped. Slimol finds the Tracer and it's all blue on the left side of the kill feed. Meerkat collapse. They absorb the pressure, they do not fall over, and instead they are the ones sending Beach Ball into collapse. They pop the bubble.
Score.
They deflate the Beach Balls to take round 1 here.
2-0.
Goodness sake, that last fight was hectic. I thought for a split second they had a chance to retake. I really did. Like a Beach Ball and Meerkat Collapse, they were just going at it. But it was Sam, I think, who just won them that last fight. Rolling around, that ball was just doing so much damage, and then just keeping the sustainability and then focusing the targets away from everybody else who was on point, and then just knocking them out. As soon as Deadeye was coming out, I thought, okay, this might be an opportunity. They got picked, but it just wasn't enough.
That I agree. That fight looked winnable. When I saw that Docker killed Dux, I was like, okay, Slimol, his transcendence is forced, and Dux therefore cannot rally. And then Dux comes back into the fight and immediately gets popped again. But losing Crake and Zimzif, I don't know quite how they lost Crake, but losing Zimzif, I believe there was sort of the third or fourth kill to go down in the fight, ended up being crucial for Meerkat Collapse.
Absolutely. And honestly, we looks like we're stuck in a little bit of pause, possibly a disconnect. So we're going to see when we get back into the game, but I am excited to see how downtown plays out. We're seeing a little bit of preview of the comps being picked out. It's looking a little bit similar, with the exception of Reborn and RQT, but everything else is pretty much a mirror comp. What's your thoughts on that so far?
So the thing with the mirror comp is, I mean, in the neutral here, we've not seen either of these teams run the rush composition yet, which is good. I think this is definitely, I'd say it's, I always want to say it's better. I think for this this Meerkat Collapse side, they're definitely more comfortable. I talked about the kind of heroes that, you know, the players I'm familiar with like to play: Girdler, Reborn, Dutch, and Slimol, and this is them at their best heroes. Doc is going to have a great time on this Cassidy though. Into he's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting just as they walk out here. That's RQT on a Torbjorn, not on a Mei.
Oh my lord. I would have preferred the Tracer at this point, but you know what? It's intermediate. Anything can happen. Possibilities are endless. Have it your way.
Absolutely, have it your way. I believe that.
Burger King, yeah.
Either way, I mean, Zimzif's lamp is gone. That's not going to be good. That's not going to be good. Zimzif falls early, but overall, I mean, it wasn't like it was an individual pick. Meerkat just kind of rolled into them. Great wall from Reborn as well, and both these DPS from Meerkat. Like I say, we've got MVP Central, aka Date, and that's finally clocked. But Meerkat Collapse just going to roll out and kind of roll over on this rush to open up.
Yeah, that was an intense fight, honestly. And the thing is, like, it was speed kills in this kind of composition when you're rushing in, and the fact that they took Zimzif was the first one to kind of slow down, like, oh, I need to use my immortality, and they just took it. They took it out, and that was just the end of it. That's what they need to sustain, and that speed just took it out for the side of Meerkat.
Yeah, the speed is going to be so good. The ability to play at a high tempo, you're overforcing cooldowns, and then you're winning the war of attrition. Central's got the high noon already, and it pops. There is no lamp available. They all stack behind the Reinhardt shield, and that is not the interaction. You want to see all of that damage is going into the shield, and then it's popping straight onto the skull of the Reinhardt. The Baptiste falls as well, and 2 dead, that's fight over.
And now we have the favorite part, watching Baby D.Va get bullied.
Yeah, I mean, such a long stagger on Makima as well, and Drake on the Reinhardt here. They really think you need to do a better job of supporting him. Finally, RQT has gone over to the Mei, but bit of a kickback potential though for this fight for Beach Ball as they have that window from Zimzif. How do you think they should play this, Gunsource?
Oh man, honestly, it's a little bit tricky, but we got, I mean, I guess you can match it, and there it is. Actually, I was about to say using High Noon in the window might be useful, but and they got a pick right up
Reborn, yeah, there we go. I thought it was just to get them space, to buy them access, to buy them forward, to get them onto the objective, but it gets Reborn. That's the best pick they can get. No Mei. Now they've got Mei wall advantage. RQT not close to a Blizzard, but still going to be able to. And Beach Ball, I think they're hesitant. I kind of want them to go. I really want them to go. That's Crodera going for an aggressive boop onto Slime Up. He's not going to die. Had that super jump, those exo boots ready and charged. But now RQT dies. The Mei difference As I say that, immediately traded back to Beatball and walks into the fight and gets sent back to the spawn. We saw that last round. Both divas throwing the bombs. It's getting a bit messy, it's getting a bit hectic, but as I say that, the dust is settling slowly but surely. It's 98% on the board. Meerkat Kollapse. They've drawn this out, they've extended it, they've staggered it, and they forced Beach Ball into an unlikely, unwelcoming position. 99 on the board. Their ultimates are ready to go. Honestly, they didn't even need them. They're just going to take this very scrappy, very messy 1 or 2 fight map, and Meerkat Kollapse off the back of a little bit of a lack of aggression from Beach Ball. They're going to take this round and subsequently take Busan.
That was a significantly quicker round. In fact, I blinked and almost missed half of it. It seemed just dynamically fast, just again with that pacing, the speed, and how quickly Meerkat was just dominating on that last run on downtown. I was hoping it'd be a little bit more intriguing, but now we're seeing how these rush comps are played. We're seeing how these Ryans are playing, and right now, like, Sam has Craig's number and is calling it and spam calling it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, he's got him on speed dial, absolutely. The thing is, though, as much as I want to, and I really want to give credit to Meerkat, right, for the way that they played that out, I just can't help but get over the fact that Beach Ball just didn't feel like they wanted to go in. I guess they were waiting for ultimates and they knew they were down ultimates, but when you've got such limited fights like you do on Control, right, Gumsource, like the only fight where they felt slightly confident, I was slightly confident in them, was that last fight where they went with that window high noon and they managed to get the pick onto Reborn, so important, but what did they do after it? Like, they didn't do anything after it. They sort of let Reborn respawn and walk back into the fight.
Yeah, I think Beach Ball may have gotten a little bit flustered because they realized the time and they realized the ults they had to use. Didn't really think about what counter ults were coming out of Meerkat Kollapse, and I think they just kind of ran in, hoping, hey, if we can just like get a quick like kill, go in and worry about the rest of it later, then we won't have to think about the macro scale of the fight. We won't have to worry about things like, oh, what if they can turn it around with their ultimates? And I mean, I think that was kind of the fall of Beach Ball at that point, but maybe they're just still warming up. Maybe they haven't stretched, which is important, kids, before you do any kind of workout. So absolutely. I think maybe that might be it. They're just stretching their legs, getting ready, maybe cracking a couple knuckles.
The wonderfully weird thing about Control I always find, Gumsource, in my time casting and playing and in the entirety of Overwatch's history, is that you can see teams get like completely donkey slapped and Omega rolled, whatever you want to say, whatever the term you want to use is, right? They get completely face rolled, they get completely dominated on Control, and then they just sort of pick themselves up, type in all chat, okay, go next, and then they completely fire back and then 3-0 the series in the next 3 maps. Control is such a weird game mode, and that's why I'm not willing to write Beach Ball off yet, because particularly in that second map, they didn't fight. So we didn't get to see the actual rush. It sounds so BM, but it felt like they didn't really get an extended fight in the rush mirror, did they? Which I guess is good for Meerkat, right? Because they've been ending these fights so quickly and efficiently. But in these extended plays, what we saw from Beach Ball is not much. And I think back to the entire map, a couple fights where they went quite long and it came down to a 2v2 or 3v3. It was... I mean, Doc was doing a lot of work. Central and Reborn putting in some work as well. Slimeball got a nice pick onto RQT on the Tracer there. So, as I said, I'm not ready to write the series over to Meerkat just yet, but there's potentially alarm bells triggering already from that downtown map that we've just witnessed from Beach Ball.
Yes, I mean, I actually absolutely agree with that, that Control doesn't define the actual rest of the series. However, it does show teams and their habits. So, again, I think there are some habits that need to be cracked, maybe need to be looked in, maybe ways to adjust. So hopefully if they've got good coaches or good mentors, they can kind of readjust in Beach Ball, just go, it's still 0-0, we go again. But again, you have to watch out for how you're treating this match and what the habits are between your team and also the enemy team.
Yeah, I think it's always easy, by the way, just to probably address it and just to sort of make myself clear and give an honest opinion. It's always easy for us as casters to be here in our sort of little crow's nest, looking down on the field and pointing out every single individual mistake or pick that did or did not work. And ultimately, this level as well, that's not what it's about. It's just interesting to engage with as well. It's really easy for us to point out the mistakes and what went wrong, and particularly we can say, oh, our QT rolled out on Torb and they lost the first fight, so therefore Torb bad, you know, flame, whatever you want to say. So it's really easy for us, and we're in a position of privilege in this situation.
Absolutely.
So it's something that we can't look harshly on too much. Both of these teams, I would think of at least practice and put some thought into the compositions. And most importantly, we're in the heat of the moment. We are in high pressure situations. There is massive stakes on the line here. So teams will make mistakes. Teams will default to comfort. Teams will panic. And I think it's very possible for both of these teams to do that throughout the series. So you're absolutely right. You said this before we went into the first match. Whichever team can hold their mental is going to be really important for the series. And speaking of, it looks like this is Beach Ball's map pick, and they've gone over to King's Row. And King's Row, I always say, Gumsauce, I call it the King's Row theory. When you're losing, when you've just lost your first map and you get the option to pick a hybrid, I think 99% of teams will go over to King's Row. Even if they've just been, as I said, completely donkey slapped on Rush. Not that Beach Ball were, but even if they were, they'd still pick King's Row. It's some sort of weird psychology thing that someday I will write a thesis on for sure. But for now, we're on King's Row, you know. It's Tuesday, innit? Whatever the NA means are for people being from the UK, whatever. Yeah, we're in the UK, we're in King's Row, and this is going to be a Rush fanatic.
Absolutely. Now, can you say bottle of water?
Bottle of water. Bottle of water. That's probably what people say, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm having a little bit of fun, but yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've seen so many times people go to King's Row because like everyone's done it. Everyone's gone through Scrim's Row, through scrim after scrim after scrim, and we're seeing how these teams played out. But yes, the Rush is back. We're seeing similar comps. We got Doc on a different comp compared character compared to Date. So we'll see how these guys treat Rush.
Yeah, Doc on the Hanzo is interesting. I don't want to call this one taken from the Wisex book, but I've seen and I've coached this sort of Rush composition with the Hanzo before. What the Hanzo does is it just wins the shield break war, and obviously sometimes you just RNG headshot your way onto a first pick, and it's so crucial. Hanzo really does fire logs, but those logs aren't quite coming up dividends right now for Beach Ball and Doc's Hanzo, but he's finding so much pressure onto the Reinhardt shield that forces out the wall from Reborn defensively. I say that he didn't use the wall, he just managed to get it aggressively onto the Diva. That was our QT's wall, so forgive me there, but they find the wall onto the Diva pick. That's going to massively affect the time to push. Central finds to pick onto the baby Diva, and this is all she wrote for Beach Ball in this first fight. There we go, finally the wall comes in defensively and they got down.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that fight was like a quick, decisive, okay, once we started losing our Diva mech, that was incredibly quick. I mean, look how already Date has a high noon, and I mean, we're pretty even on the board for most other. Oh, that's what we were just talking about. There we go. There's
the pick. There's the log. There's the RNG headshot.
That's the edge.
It's a coin flip. Reborn steps 2 across the shield. The defense later doesn't cover, and now Doc is going to go with the dragon to zone them off. Beach Ball have got control of the objective. Where did they go with it? That's a great window from Koidero. They have to step into it or go into the hotel, where ultimately they're going to reappear out of a choke point. That is only good for RQT here on the May. Michael tries to give his life, but they Central on the high noon, on the high ground, finds 2. That's RQT. And the Lucio of Panini gone so much, and oh my Meerkat Kollapse comes off. They've done it. They were 2 down in the fight. They lost the all-important May, but Central, the MVP, delivers when they need it the most.
Absolutely. And like, I mean, there was some good fights. There was some good initiation. I was so ready for them to kind of take it all, but I mean, as respawns are coming back, I think they just kind of collected themselves a little bit better. That being inside of a Meerkat, and then they kind of just took it back. I mean, I guess the only thing we have left is we have Ultimate coming on both sides again, ready to go. We just see how Craig and Sam kind of treat each other.
Doc does it again. Could it be the second bite of the cherry for Beach Ball? That's another important pick from the Hanzo. The Sam coming down is basically going to damn the Reinhardt, and Sam falls as well. So the Reinhardt advantage means that they can sort of just walk on slowly. There we go. They take out the man of last fight, but Reborn finds a 2k. That's going to take down Doc and Pirini. So Lucio falling in the mid fight could be crucial, could be an important factor as it was last time, but nope. There we go. History is not going to repeat itself, Gumsauce, and Beach Ball are going to take the cap.
Yeah, I mean, that was a relatively decisive fight. There were some moments, you know, like Reborn just playing a Doomfist. It's just, it can be scary because like you're not only burning time, but you also have that so much like one-hit kill potential that can knock them out of getting the wins, getting the point.
Doomfist, I always find, is so scary, so high risk, because you've got to keep killing on the hero. If you don't, then ultimately you don't really provide any value. Speaking of, he's going to get a nice knockdown onto Drake. The Blizzard is going to come out as RGT tries to take space for his team. They are going to find Sam, but no one's in the Blizzard, no one can step up because of the great zoning bomb and window that Simon and Girdler both managed to connect. So nice little heads-up intelligence play from those guys. Their experience really coming through in that situation. Sam's in a corner. Will he commit the Earth Shatter? Looks like he will. Great shield from Craig just to take it down. Koidero getting the pick onto Reborn as well. He's going to do Meerkat Collapse. But as I say that, 2 from Meerkat Collapse. Well, they collapse. The Diva Bomb comes in from Makima. This fight slowly but surely should bleed out for the side of Beach Ballers. They're going to push this in and roll the payload at least close to the second. Don't think Meerkat are going to get touched.
Holy cow. So that, yeah, Beach Ball just went right in Makima. Honestly, excellent work right there. I mean, I was gonna say earlier, like during that beginning of the fight when they're in the streets, like they were throwing their ults really like at really weird spots where you could just run away, hide behind the wall. But as soon as like they start touching and greeting each other, saying hi face to face, then we start seeing actual damage coming out, and then the bomb just pushed it all out. That was a fun fight.
Yeah, a lot of ults there I would describe as cosmetic, but if you can win in the neutral fight, it doesn't matter. That's going to be a slam that goes down straight into the shield of Sam. He's going to collect that one. There's a window from Koidero to try and buy some space, buy some time. It does force the Doom Missile from Reborn. He's going to collect back into the team. But now Simon says, okay, you're going to pop window. I'm going to pop mine. We're going to take some space forward as Meerkat are on the run. They've got Beach Ball in a corner, but it's a corner that ends up in a blizzard. It's going to get so chilly on the corner of King's Row. Crick finds a pick onto Duck to have Meerkat been baited, trying to turn the fight, but the slam comes down from Sam. The Earth Shatter is a potential swing in the fight now for this attacking side. As I say that, 2-4, what is going on in this fight? Michael commits the bomb as well onto the Lucio, in the blizzard I thought was so good from RQT, but Meerkat Collapse just soaked the pressure and they throw it back tenfold and win the fight. Crazy.
Yeah, they stabilized that fight incredibly well. It was like, just, you gotta throw the ults, and like even through the ults that they ran with on the side of Beach Ball, it just like, it was still enough for Meerkat to kind of stabilize and go, okay, let's get our heads back in the game, let's keep fighting this. And then I'm not sure what they did, what magic they ran to keep defended off, but it was a little bit hard for me to catch up with everything that happened.
What I will say is I'm sure that Dux's beat was very good, and the zoning ultimates that came out from Michael and Slimall as well, both really, really good at just extending the fight. And in these extending fights, it's Meerkat Collapse winning. As I say, that central gets completely crunched by Makima there on the Diva. That's the Cassidy down. That's a great angle. That's a great window for Beach Ball into the fight. They can take down Reborn. It's going to get even better for this attacking team as their time bank is slowly burning. Still over 2 minutes, so very, very healthy. It's going to be the Lucio of Ducks on the payload, and he's just going to add another number, a +1 over to his death counter there. Reborn going to try and go for that contest to drain a little bit of time. The fight is good.
Yep, I mean, I would have preferred if they didn't, go for that contest right there, because like they just burned up and became old batteries for that point, because they were just kind of staggering in. I mean, this is where they should have held off in the first place and didn't give them as much ult ability or charge.
No, both windows thrown to start the fight. The Mayor, I think, is going to be the really impactful one. Dragon out on top of it. It doesn't manage to connect. Sam is going to be frozen, but they stay alive through the freezer that comes out from RQT. Doctor on the Hanzo, slowly starting to heat up again as I say that. The hit scans of Meerkat Collapse are just going to collect the nice pair. Date, Central, and Slimall coming in to be in the fight. Meerkat Collapse, again against the Blizzard of RQT Gunsource, they're going to win the fight. I'm not quite sure how.
I mean, honestly, I think what it was Sam's shatter. It was an altruistic shatter. It wasn't like a selfish, let me go dummy mommy on Craig, let me just destroy him. It was more like, hey, let me just knock the team down for a bit so that the rest of my team can catch up, catch some breath, and then just go in for it again. And I think now we're seeing how these two tanks are kind of going against each other, how these two Ryans, how competitive they are with each other, and how they're kind of treating their ultimates.
Speaking of catching my breath, I'm going to need to, because these have been high intensity, long fights. Both of these teams really trying to win, committing every ult imaginable. But this one, luckily, is starting out a little bit slow. Reborn is on the flank, but he could get found out. He could get zoned back as the Diva bomb comes in. That's going to be an immediate bomb pin, a little bit uncoordinated, but Slimall's lap being forced means that Central is just going to get crunched underneath the pin. That's 600 HP, 600 pound German man pinning onto Central. Cassidy, not soldier, so I'm not sure he's going to enjoy that one as much. The beat from Dutch is only going to be there to stabilize, but as I say that, the stabilization just results in a scramble for the payload and all the red bodies for the side of Beach Ball on it. The overtime whip starts and it starts to burn, but as the numbers go through, I think Gunsource, this is going to be the cap for Beach Ball.
Absolutely, Jason. Honestly, yep. That's. I think this is it. You're just staggering at this point. You're just padding the stats at this point. Because, I mean, that was an intense fight. But look, there's no time left. at least they completed the map. But now you gotta pray that Meerkat doesn't, complete the map either, or at least with time. So this could be a possibly sticky situation. So you better hope on side beach ball that your defense is on point.
Yeah, let's take an abject opinion here. Abject. That's not the right word. Let's take an opinion here, Gumsource. So
Sure.
I believe going into third, in your opinion, they had about 2 minutes on the time bank.
Yeah.
Did beach ball. Now that they full capped with overtime, considering how last fight and how these fights have gone, with 2 minutes rolling into third, if you're beach ball here, are you happy that you got it with overtime? Would you have liked time on the clock? Do you think time on the clock is realistic for them? Do you think this is maybe an underperform? Like, what are your thoughts? 2 minutes left on the clock, as I said, rolling into third, and they come out with it 3 points, but no time left on the clock. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's better than non-completing the map, I will say for sure. The only thing I can think of really is just that, because there's a lot of pressure to go, well, now that they have no time, we have to at least, get some time on ours, so that way there's no attack on their side. So there's a lot of ways for this still to go. That's why I kind of enjoy hybrid, is just because of the fact that you still have possibilities to be stopped out. I remember last time I casted, they went like 5 and 6 almost, basically, just because like they capped out at the last minute, and then they had time left in the bank, and they were able to go to 0.5 and then get 0.6. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure. I'm just hoping that this offense is good.
Just before this fight starts, quickly, Michael, aka Girdler, on the Zarya. What are your quick thoughts on this?
Zarya, super great for that damage. I mean, you're gonna knock a lot of shields out, but I mean,
They're just getting run over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are right. They need the damage, but that damage comes from energy that comes up late in the fight. Girdler, I'm gonna be honest, I think his Zarya is probably his third best off tank. Definitely the Diva and the Sigma. Not only I think he's better at, they're also just better in this composition, especially the Diva. You have to play around your Zarya, and whilst giving bubbles over to Reborn is infinitely valuable, I'm not quite sure it's going to be the best in this situation. To say that RTC gets the May wall, can they find the bubble defensively to cover that the May wall provides out? It does go on to Sam, it doesn't get that much value. Crate drops the Earth Shatter, unfortunately early into shield as he falls so low. He's going to have to back up. Both windows traded, RTC popping the cryo as well. Could be room to punish him. Now I think is the scenario, the time, the perfect scenario, the perfect opportunity and opening for the Girdler to really flex those Zarya muscles, showing it off on that former MVP skin. Got so much energy, so much charge. Central walks in as well, so they managed to stall out the fight come source, and then I think that's really where the Zarya came to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just a waiting game, but there's always some sunk cost fallacy when you play Zarya, because if you die and then you don't have your ultimate, you die again, you're still trying to build that ultimate, so you go, oh, well, I'm already at 60% my ultimate, I have to keep playing Zarya.
Absolutely. Sunk cost fallacy, I think, is actually such a great term for it. It really, really is. And unfortunately, the only thing sunk is going to be the skull of the Girdle there, as he gets completely taken apart by Doc's High Noon. And now you've got to respawn, you lose in tempo. And as I said, I'm consider myself a Zarya one trick, and I've got a lot of hours on this hero. This, going against a mate, against his choke point, this is really, really not good for Zarya. I think if you're Girdler, you just need to grab and switch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just looking at this fight develop, it's just how many ults are you running at and how much of a choke point this is. This is just a hard spot to go on the fence on.
It really is, but the Grav is going to come in to flip it, and I believe it could get in so much energy, so much charge, so much damage. That's a 2k, both DPS gone. This is the great opportunity, perfect for Zarya now. He's got the window healing on Firemol as well. Girdler, this is your time, this is your moment. Just chew through everybody. You are the most unkillable. You are the Demon King in this lobby. There's no May to freeze you up. There we go. So as I said, they needed to grab and swap come source, but maybe Girdler heard me and just said, you know what, F you, I'm going to throw it in anyway. Gets a perfect grab onto the corner, slips it under the defense matrix, and finds a pair. Both DPS is the crucial pick in those fights, and that turns it. Great play from the Girdler on the Zarya.
Yeah. Look at where they're positioning now. They're taking the upper ground. Something that we don't see a lot in intermediate. I mean, this is absolutely a great way to do it, but I mean, Ryan on high ground is a little bit difficult to get some value out, but I think they're just depending on that Zarya.
Zarya on the high ground, I think, is the important thing. The High Noon from Central on the high ground, he's just going to get walled by R2T. But no main wall, I think he's only going to benefit. Meerkat Kollapse is now Reborn going. That's a slam, 4 or potentially 5 on the floor from Sam. Oh my, the beats are going to come in from both sides, but ultimately for Beach Ball, it's just going to be a deflating fight for them. As Meerkat Kollapse, they keep up the tempo, they invest a lot of ultimates to keep that train rolling, but now I think just under 4.5 minutes into this third point. What do you think about this position for this attacking team, Gunforce? Because I really like it.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted, honestly. I mean, I don't. I'm a little bit speechless. Also, just like the speed of how they're doing it. It's like this is the speed we saw on downtown, and now we're seeing it
Reborn
again.
just done through the high noon. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's a crazy play to Reborn. That is a fight win in itself. He peeks the corner. He played up aggressively, and now that the grab comes in because of the Diva mech being ejected, being collapsed. And well, Meerkat Kollapse. I'm going to make this pun probably too many times this series, but holy, they just completely deflate Beach Ball. They completely run them over. And it's all thanks to Reborn. What an amazing, fantastic punch there. It's such a good cooldown, you think, and it basically just wins the fight.
Tate again with that high noon. There's just so much. There was so much risk. That's how she wrote it. Reborn. Yo, honestly, dude.
Wow. I mean, this is 2 fights in a row. I believe the term is waxing lyrical. I was so hype about this Zarya, and I really keyed into the narrative arc and sort of made it and formed the last couple of fights around the Zarya. But we got into third point gun source, and Reborn punches the high noon soldier into the water to turn him, to put him on a painting, to put him on a t-shirt, to put him on a canvas, whatever you want to call it. Completely just splats him. And then the second fight, it's a high noon from Central Mr. MVP. It's a 2K. There we go. The DPS from Meerkat Kollapse completely carrying that last point.
No, that was absolutely murderous. And things Reborn, that was so much risk. I would have a safer risk betting on Best Buy stock or Bed Bath & Beyond stock. Honestly, that was insane. Like, normal people who have like a 4-head, maybe a 5-head, I go, okay, I'm not gonna go and rush in when they're doing high noon. But Reborn's like, yeet, that's it.
Oh, it's so int. Don't get me wrong, Reborn. I think that play is the intent behind that play is so unbelievably int, because if you just get lamped, then your whole play's ruined, and you just basically give yourself up freely to the high noon. They didn't have Doomfist ult to escape, as much as I believe it, but you know, Gumsource, sometimes you have to pull it from 40 feet, game on the line. Sometimes you have to put it all on black, as they say, casino style, and Reborn hit it. So you know what, fair play.
Fair play indeed. And now we go, look at that, they're gonna stick with what won them last time, and look at that, all you need is a third of the point with 3 minutes and 3.5 minutes basically to do it. I think they're just gonna wait for ults.
Yeah, they just need an attack. They can wait for ults, but potentially they don't even need to, because if Reborn can find the 1 in a million to splat like they did last time, that could just be all she wrote. Beach Ball going down 2-0 in the series. They're going to get forced back here. These resources really piling up. And there we go. Finally, the critical mass comes in. R2T goes down. That's no May. That's so crucial, because it really frees up this rush composition from Meerkat, who are missing the May. Now they don't have to deal with one. They can just go in all aggressive. They got themselves on the point. It's 2v2. Crate comes back in. The slam is huge. It finds both times, but they can't find the conversion on to Michael, aka the Gurgler. That Zarya being up and alive in this fight is so crucial. The slam comes in from Sam just to get it up, and that Reinhardt was so free to swing once the May of R2T go down. Meerkat overwhelmed them with the damage that comes in from this composition. So front loaded was the damage, courtesy of Reborn and Central. And they've got the insurance policy in these 2 times as well. Sam's going to collect play, and Meerkat go up 2-0 in the series.
I mean, again, I was just mentioning before, like, habits are seen when you start seeing the first map, and you saw like the habit for Meerkat is like, let's rush in, let's go in as fast as we can. And like Sam, I guess he's looking more objective. I can't tell because I'm not in his mind, but I think he's looking more objectively with his ultimates. I think he's like, okay, let me find some value out of it, not as much as let me go try to get revenge on the other tank and let me do the MTD thing, you know, the Unga Bunga. So I think honestly, I'm thinking that Meerkat is playing more like a team in beach ball. Is like they might be suffering from mentals. They might be suffering from maybe just a bad day or a bent wrist. But it's just so difficult to see like these 2 great teams, and then you're seeing like Meerkat kind of just dominating over. There's still a possibility though for a reversal or a reverse sweep. It might happen, but yeah. I mean, just the way they're both playing, it doesn't look as positively. And I'm like, I kind of want to see more than 3 maps.
I mean, as much as I would like this series to end for the sake of my own vocal cords, Gumsource, this is really good Overwatch being played from both of these teams. What we are going to do, though, is we are going to take a quick 5-minute break. So, Meerkat find themselves 2-0 up on the brink of taking the League Zero Intermediate Division upper quarterfinals, getting themselves into the semis and almost a guaranteed top 3 finish in this tournament for this season. Big stakes for beach ball. they have to run it back 3 in a row. Will they? Won't they? Let's find out after this short 5-minute intermission. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. And we are back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to welcome back to League Zero here on Twitch. This is the Intermediate Division Quarterfinals. Meerkat Kollapse currently find themselves 2-0 up against Beach Ball. Beach Ball, in this first of 3 series, backs against the wall. They got to win or go home. I'll be your play-by-play caster for the rest of the series tonight. Joining me on color is Drum Source.
Hey, howdy. I'm gonna say more this time.
Yes.
With the backs against the wall with Beach Ball, there's not a lot of options left. They have to hope that this pick is right for them because they kind of got dominated on Kings Row, which again, it's always a risk, as you mentioned before, with the Kings Row kind of theory. So really what I want to see from both of these teams is a way to adapt to the higher ground, the verticality of these maps. And maybe this might be the chance for Beach Ball to kind of start that run back for that reverse sweep. It might be the possibility. We might be here all night, but I mean, at some point I want to go to bed and I got to see a winner.
Yeah, at some point, you know, not to say anything too controversial, guys, but at some point, one of these teams is going to win this series. That's potentially a scorching hot take, I know. But in all seriousness, the one thing I do like, let's do a little bit of serious analysis here for a second. One thing I do like for Beach Ball, though, Drum Source, is that they've sort of switched it up. They're clearly not working. They're clearly not playing up to the level of Meerkat or even their own level that they expect for themselves in this rush composition. So what have they done? Well, they've gone over to the UK-owned, very, very sunny estate island of Watchpoint Gibraltar, and they're probably going to be throwing out on a dive or a double shield comp. Most importantly, drastically changing the way in which these fights and these compositions are going to be played, which allows them to potentially play a bit more comfort or at least shake things up. You know, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And it looks like, luckily for Beach Ball, they are not clinically insane, and we love to see it.
Yes, they're going on the dive, just though I will say you gotta watch out on the other team. Meerkat is also running a bit of a dive defense too. So again, I mean, the difference here is going to be the speed, the pace of when these teams attack, defend, and use their ultimates, and how much damage they're going to take out. So this is scary. This is scary for Craig and company. We're going to see how well they do for the rest of this map and see if maybe this is the right choice for them.
I think so. It has the potential to go really well. One thing I will say is I think when you're on the attack, you always have the advantage of tempo and control. And as I say that, not if you're playing Roadhog. I think
this
now
is for a pick. It's a cheeky one. That's all it is it?
Is this a crate classic? Is it?
It has to be. I mean, you're gonna go back to that Winston, right? I mean, you're right.
Yeah, he's going Winston now. Okay.
There you go.
It leaves a little bit of time bank, but now they get to start the competition for Meerkat Kollapse, and it looks like it's going to be an Echo versus an Ashe. So our QT is going to be honestly very suppressed, very, very hard to play against Central here on the Ashe. MVP for a reason, clearly deadly on these hit stands as we see it. Misses 4 shots in a row and gets headshot. So I've cursed you, Central, I'm sorry. Got put in the skull. That's not RNG, that is straight between the eyes.
Yeah.
So the Ashe going down now is important because our QT has a lot more freedom in the air, and both of these tanks, Craig and Makima, can take the blue box, and from here, Doc can stage himself very, very well. And most importantly, Credero can also get this all-important, valuable high ground. They do give over the payload, but I think if they're going for the fight, it's not going to be too bad.
Doc's Dragons are already ready to go. I mean, their ultimates they're pacing up, they're speeding up. So, I mean, I'm liking the speed that they're running at right now, because this is what Beach Ball needs. This is really what they need, because this is what's been losing fights.
Yeah, it definitely has the lack of ultimates coming in, but Simon Mirrors for Nano, that's going to be Doc's Dragon Strike through server room to cover, but that's a very glowing, angry Primal Monkey for Craig. He gets slept up. Night, not quite the Harambe treatment. He's just going to be down for a couple of seconds, and I can't believe I made a Harambe reference in 2022, but nonetheless, Slimo looks like he's all but good and dead. He survives though, slips out the server room completely unnoticed thanks to coverage from Michael there on the Diva. And as Panini falls late in the fight, they survive the pressure of the angry Primal Monkey thanks to a great sleep from Slimo. Meerkat Kollapse get the hold.
I'm not sure if you saw what I saw, but I think when they initialized with that nano onto Craig, I don't think they had an exact plan because they kind of ran in and then the rest of Meerkat kind of just ran out. It's like, no, we're not dealing with this. They gave it space and then they slept the monkey after they got nano. So after it went a primal.
Yeah, it felt like there wasn't quite. I mean, even if there was a plan, it looks like both of these DPS from the side of Beach Ball, they can't really collapse into this server room because they'll just get run over. That's not what they do. They play at range and they play at pokes like this. RQT sticky bombs are going to go wide. Duck takes down Craig, and I think losing that Winston early, I'm about ready to call this fight in favour. But that massive anti comes in as well. It's just going to drive home the nail in the coffin. So many picks come in from Meerkat Collapse. Sam falling. Michael's bomb being forced potentially an overextension from Meerkat Collapse. Have they flown too close to the sun? Icarus style. Craig getting the pick onto the juggler there. On that Diva is potentially a window of opportunity, but no, Reborn taking down Craig again. That's the Winston falling for a second time in about 40 seconds. Should just be the fight.
Goodness sake. And now we invested ults on that, and that was like, I'm not sure what to say, but Meerkat was like just setting up a trap. They said, come on to the server room. It's nice and cool in here. And they went in and then they got bamboozled. Like, why would you go in there? There was only 1 or 2 people from the side of Beach Ball going in. And I think that's what lost them the fight. They're like, okay, now you're in my territory. You're in my domain. And that was it. You just take a few picks and then now you're running them over.
They did. One could say that they got pranked there by Meerkat Collapse. In practical Joker style, let's all dive. Yeah, now you're going to dive into the server room. But it's a different fight this time. The server room comes in and it's the nanoed Winston of Sam that is going to be looking for, I think, the front line of Beach Ball. They managed to get Mac in his mech. It's a good start to the fight. Roberts, the big omelet butler, comes out and he's only going to zone the rallying Brigitte of Panini. As I say that, this fight is very, very split. Everyone, everywhere, all of the time. But as the dust settles, it's only going to be, I think, 1 or 2 kills. And that's all that Meerkat need because, hey, they've got respawn and they've got defensive position. Oh, Dutch pick could be so crucial.
This might be it though. I mean, this is scary. I mean, we're final fight territory, running into overtime. We have some ults to play with, but just not enough. I just don't know if Beach Ball has enough to kind of get to the point.
Beach Ball need to do it now. It's here or die. It's do or die. First point, overtime wick is burning. You said it, backs against the walls. They're sweating, they're going to be nervous. Like Leonardo DiCaprio when his girlfriend turns 25. It is tense, it is tight, it is nervous here for both of these teams. Date finding the pick though is going to be worse than Misery Compiler. Both supports go down for Beach Ball and they've collapsed. This could be the final time. Oh, the wind is out of their sails. It's a disaster. It's an F5 tornado. And Beach Ball are full held, only 77 meters on Watchpoint Gibraltar, and that is a very controlling hold for Meerkat Collapse.
Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, that was that collapsed quicker than my 401k after the news broke out of how we're in an economy, we're about in a recession. I mean, I don't know how else to explain this, man. That was just a big downturn. I'd be crying right now if I was Beach Ball, knowing how much space they just took and how little, shall I say. The only options here now is to dominate and try to do kind of what I guess, I mean, convince the other team to either lose to keep this thing going, or maybe on the other side, maybe Beach Ball just needs to have a strong defense and just, I don't know, kind of do the same thing where they roll them into the server room, because I saw them go into the server room 3 times with like 1 or 2 people and then just get deleted and then, you know, clean up the rest of the team. So Beach Ball, you gotta do something. You gotta do some strong defense here. I'm praying for you guys.
I think Beach Ball really should have just swapped something around. If this is what they're playing comfortably and if it works, then fair enough. But it really felt like, didn't it, Drum Source, that just by Meerkat Collapse going into server, it meant that the snipers, the long range spam damage that Doc and RQT could put out was essentially mitigated by the hard cover and sustain that Dux and Slimewalker could put out on this and a bridge support line. Both of these teams now going Genji. I've seen it all. I don't think this hero is good yet. Give it a month and I think it'll be quite good, but for now in 6v6 I don't rate it. What are your thoughts?
Genji's actually, I mean, it's all risk at this point. It's like, okay, it got a little bit glass candy because you're depending on the nano blade to win your fights. So the beauty though is since Meerkat is now on the offense, they have as much time in the world to build that nano blade and win because they don't have far to go. But on the other side, on defense, you have to beg them to get that nano blade on point as quick as possible, clean up fights. But then now, what are you gonna be doing in between those fights without the nano blade?
Yeah, absolutely, I do agree. I think the Genji is very, very weak, very looted in the fights that the nano blade isn't available. Most importantly, I think by forcing the Nano onto your Genji, you give up the tempo onto the Winston. And say that, RQT silences me for a second. He slits his throat at Slimol. Goodbye, Anna, and that is all she wrote. Slimol does have Nano, extraordinarily fast. About 40-second Nano. Both of these Winstons taking so much poke, and, well, they can't quite Nano the Genji, but they could at least Nano the Winston here.
You know, okay, I do have a little bit of soft spot for Ana players, not because I like grannies, but more specifically because of the sheer power Nanoblade has and Nanos in general. And then whenever I see a good Ana play like this, it makes me so happy. It sparks joy.
Yeah, it's a really good Ana play. I think Slimol very experienced on this hero. Gets the Nano over onto Sam, who does work with it. It brings dividends. Koidero goes down. That's no Nano for the rival Ana, so they cannot kick back with a Monkey See. Monkey do quite literally. RQT though, if they can survive, but Date pulls the blade neutral, he pulls it blind, he pulls it raw, and he takes down his other Genji. So Meerkat Kollapse has done a great job of eliminating the key ultimate win conditions for Beach Ball in this fight. That's going to be a cosmetic rally for Dux for good measure. He's going to be all shiny and glowy in the victory screen. As Meerkat Kollapse, they run it through, they take the 3-0, and as that payload pushes into Watchpoint Gibraltar, Meerkat Kollapse are going to advance to the upper bracket finals.
Wow, congratulations, Meerkat. I'm also absolutely just amazed at how that played out. I mean, there were times where I saw Gibraltar either go way to the very last point, and then like everyone just hard stuck fought every single time and every single end of point. But this one was just a simple point A hold.
It really was, and I think we've sort of thrown about credit to basically everyone in the side of Meerkat Kollapse this series, but let's put some respect on Sam and Slimol this time, because that was all them. The Winston Ana combo is crucial. When you play dive, you better have a good main tank Winston, you better have a good flex support that can play Ana, because if you do not, then don't play dive. But Meerkat Kollapse absolutely did. They showcased their prowess on a wide variety of compositions, and it looks like we are going to be getting an interview with two of my more favoured supports in the communities that I know, that being Dux and Slimol. Beach Ball, though, I mean, they're going into the lower bracket now, so they're not down and out. And as we look into Beach Ball before we get the interview winners for Meerkat Kollapse, Scumsource, Beach Ball, what do you think they showcased today that gives you a glimpse of optimism for their potential lower bracket run?
It's a little rough just because we saw 3-0, I'll be quite honest, but I mean, I guess what you could say is that there's still opportunities for them to learn from this, to know that they're, even though they may have won the last tournament against Meerkat when they went against each other, they should just stay humble. I think build up those mentals and work on your pacing. So I'm not sure exactly yet what the plan is, what the coaches want to do, what the players need to adjust, but there's a lot of room to go, and they still have an opportunity to down but not out. I want Beach Ball to keep playing. I love watching them play. It's always enjoyable, and I would like to see a Meerkat versus Beach Ball go again, sometime later in the brackets.
It would be the salty run back for all salty run backs. What I will say from Beach Ball, my first time seeing them together as a team, obviously I've only been really familiar with just Doc on that team, but they have plenty of pieces to play around. It's not like this is a one-man deadlift from their hit scans. So hey, their tanks, when they played dive, I didn't mind it. Their decisions, their intent was good. It's just I felt so bad for the tanks, because I think it's really easy to look at them and go, you're inting, what are you doing? But when you play Hanzo Echo with your dive composition, you're really leaving your Winston out to dry there. Going into that server room, it's hard for your Ana as well, because then you basically remove the LOS from your Monkey as well. So, and then, especially then, do you need your DPS to pincer from those side rooms to come from ramp on the blue box side, and then to come from maybe round the back if they can slip down there as well, and sort of, as I said, pincer onto the back line. But when you've got both DPS that can't pincer, because if they just walk into server room, they will die, it doesn't make... Ultimately, the dive fails and doesn't make the Winston look good.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, working as a team, you have to know you can't just send your Monkey in alone in server. Please don't do it 3 times in a row. It was a little bit depressing and a little bit frustrating to say. I want to pull some hair out seeing that happen. But I mean, again, you can't blame it all, because there's a lot going on in this team. There was so much pressure going on in this third map, especially when those Beach Balls pick. I was really hoping they put up at least a little bit more of a fight, but I mean, honestly, there's just so much to go through, and I don't blame them for doing that. I mean, because repetition might be the mother of pedagogy. You might learn from their mistakes, but if you keep doing it without learning something, then at that point it is, as you said, insanity.
It's do or die, but they've got time to learn in the lower bracket. For now, though, two of those supports that remained pretty untouched and played very, very well, particularly on that last map, is Watchpoint Gibraltar. We're going to be ready to throw these two guys in here for an interview. We've got Dutch and Slimol ready from the 3-0 winners, Meerkat Kollapse, ready to come up into VC any second now. There we go.
Here we go.
Howdy.
Hello, gamers. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, this is an interview, so I'm all. Jump off. Do you have a question while I think of like an actually coherent one? I don't know.
Sure. Well, I have some simple ones. Okay, so how was your syncrasy together, both as the supports and then watching Sam just kind of run off and do the Unga Bunga tanking and being the MTD? What was your thoughts? How are you guys feeling?
Think, and this will kind of be the answer for like probably most of the questions, but sort of like as the match went on, we were just way more in sync in general as a team, both like different like duos of players, whether it's the back line or like any other like combo. Just as a team, we were just getting a lot more back into the swing of things because I'm not even gonna lie, I don't know how many people actually know this, but our team has still yet to hit double-digit scrims for the season, so we like genuinely have played more officials than scrims. And we hadn't really played like a lot of serious matches, I guess, in the past few weeks. So throughout warm-up and even like towards the beginning of this game, it was a little rusty and we weren't all in sync, but we eventually started like telling each other to talk more, and we were more on the same page. And yeah, obviously the result speaks for itself.
I think once you can iron out the basics, especially considering I know like a lot of the guys on your roster, I think once you can iron it out, it's not too bad. One question I have to ask though is relevant to the recent awards that I mentioned. Is it in your honest opinion, has it given you guys a boost, a grinding motivation, knowing that you have been especially a lot of you have been rewarded in your team by the community? You've been role starred, rookie of the year, etc. Like, I guess it's more of a question for Dux, although saying that Slimal, I believe you did get role star as well. So does it give you a boost, honestly? Like both of you, does getting acknowledgement from the rest of your division give you that grind and motivation to really step up, or is it something where it's just like, it doesn't really matter?
For me, and it meant a lot to me because obviously I'm playing main support this season, and not usually my main role.
Yeah.
So just to know that the community voting me rookie of the year, just to know that they think that I'm doing good on that role when I know I can do so much more if I grind it more, it really wants me to actually get to where I can be if I'm already getting this praise with such little practice.
I feel that. That's great. And if your dad isn't proud of you, I am. But one other question I do have for you all. So, when you were going against the team, what were your mentors feeling like when they're going against Beach Ball? Were you anticipating a rough fight, or do you think it was easy breezy? Was this the way that you guys were so much in sync with each other?
I wouldn't say like easy, but I mean, I think a lot of the teams in this league sort of fit into tiers, and they. I mean, at least against us, I think they are someone that you can't like just mess around. Like, I think they are a good team. But that being said, we're definitely like confident going in. We definitely believed we could and probably should win, at least from our perspective. But it's like, it's not really something where we can just like play weird comps or like fool around or do whatever. And genuinely, we were using it as, since we knew either way, win or lose, we were going to be playing tomorrow. Like, it was like an official that also do it as like a sort of scrim where it just we had to like get back into things. Like I said, we hadn't played in a while, so
yeah. Okay,
definitely a good match though. I like a lot of the people on Beach Ball.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys.
They've got some serious players on their team as well, so I'm expecting them to make at least a pretty decent lower bracket run. But for you guys, you're in the upper bracket. Now you move on to the semi-finals. So I actually don't know who you play, but in terms of the upper bracket or someone that you think could make a lower a big run into the lower bracket. Who, any other teams scare you? Any other players individually scare you? Who have you got your, or and if not, who's got the target on their back? Courtesy of Meerkat Collapse, who are you guys looking to really take down, really beat, and maybe even get like a revenge game or something against for the rest of this bracket? Who are the team to beat in your opinion?
What do you think, Dux?
Uh, I'm gonna
Who you
think.
want to beat, Ducks? Who you want to beat?
I gotta say lobsters.
Louisiana
Lobster.
Lobsters.
Gotta say
Lobsters is that the Strato Laura team?
No, that is the
Nah.
optical.
Lobsters
Joe
is
Badonk, Tannic B.
Tannic
oh that
B,
yeah
Tannic
yeah
Bot.
Yeah,
oh
they're
yeah
actually up 2-1 right now.
Panic Dunk
Ooh.
Optical.
Not gonna lie, they could have 3-0'd, but they did a little. I think they had thought that the fight was won, and then it was like the very last fight in which they would be pushing it in. They like full held on Route 66, and then they did a little bit of trolling. I think they sort of
Just a little
took
bit.
their foot off the gas and then ended up losing the map. So we'll see how this. In my opinion, whoever wins this game, or both of these teams coming out of this game, I think are pretty good.
I'd agree.
So.
Yeah.
Well, final question then, I guess, at this point. So, I guess the one thing is that since you guys don't scrim that much, how the heck do you guys build this trust with each other or build this like synchronicity? How do you do it with no scrims, memeing, and just having fun as a team? How do you do it?
I think, honestly, I feel like going into the season, people probably thought we were like a pretty decent roster, but I think if you look at sort of like the past teams that a lot of us have been on, um, we've either played with like at least one other person on the roster before. Like I've been on a ton of teams with Reborn.
Mhm.
Like I know people on our team have played with like Central before. I think Sam's like one of the only people that like isn't sort of super connected to someone else, but like Michael and Dux have played on a team before. Uh, so it's like there's like some pre-established synergies, but we've also like kind of all played at like a lot higher levels than this current team.
Mhm.
So just having that experience of like sort of I think maybe understanding the game each individually a lot more, and then I think we're probably one of the best like teams at adjusting too. I think even if we don't start the game off correctly, we're like pretty good at just like understanding our jobs and just like getting it done. And like when we're communicating a lot, which sometimes can be an issue, when we're encouraged by each other to communicate more, then it's just you hear something your teammate says and you just trust it and you act on it.
And I think blind trust is sometimes a risky strategy, but hey, if it works, it works. You guys you guys know each other as well, particularly the core of this roster. You know, like Reborn, Duck, Slimeball, Girdler. I mean, obviously, yeah, you guys all talk outside of game, so it's only going to be successful. Well, there you go. Any final words you want to throw out to anyone else in the intermediate division before we wrap the interview up, or?
I mean, not really. Well,
Buy the dip.
interested to see who wins this game.
Buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
Buy the dip. Okay, stonks.
Yeah.
Stonks.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Slimeball. Thank you, Dux, for coming on and doing the interview. Deserved 3-0 winners today. The support for Meerkat Collapse, everyone.
Yeah, shout out Ducks, actually.
Drake emoji in the chat. Yeah, shout out Dux. Improved so much over this season. So I think deserved Rookie of the Year in my opinion. Congrats to them both.
Real.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, there we go. As I got dragged off beneath the winds as well. That's gonna be it from us. And at least I think for me tonight, we've got. Is there another game on stream? Product. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like there isn't going to be another casted game for you all tonight in the intermediate division. But hey, maybe go over to Donk's personal stream because they're playing right now. Twitch.tv/acronator_. underscore games. Was that the link? Yeah, there we go. It's not even live anymore. Okay. Anyway, fine. Just gonna throw to Gunsource for some final thoughts before I do the wrap up. Thank you so much. This was an honor. A bit new to play by play, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. Gunsource,
Yeah.
thoughts.
Absolutely. Well, thoughts many. Head is too big. It's just it was a fun one to do. I'm still relatively new casting, but I thought this was so fun to do, and I'm just watching these two teams go at it. I am really excited to see how the rest of the season goes as we run into this tournament time. There's really a lot that Meerkat can still go up to. There's a lot of competition. They're looking forward to going against Louisiana Lobsters. I just want to see how the rest of Beach Ball does. So overall, I think this was a fun one to watch and watch it over again if you want to catch some more funny references and funny memes about things like Leonardo DiCaprio and Stonks.
Yeah, this was one of the more content casts I've done in a while, so I'm always down to mess around and throw some obscure references and go for a more laid back approach. So thank you so much, Drum Source. Thank you so much, knock on wood, for the prod as well. That's going to be it. I mean, I have socials for myself and Drum Source in the links below. We've still got League 0 on tonight. There's a 2-1. There's a series currently 2-1, potentially 2-2 going on in this intermediate division. So there you go. But it's going to be it from us casters. Enough stalling, wrap it up, etc. I will hopefully, and we'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow when the League 0 continues. So until then, take care, have a great night, and stay safe. Peace.
Good night.